The side-scrolling genre is full of many variations. You have your platformers where your jumps must be calculated, and some even have a great sense of speed. You have your Metroidvania type games where the game encourages you to explore, level up, and acquire new tools and skills to further that exploration. And then there are the shoot-'em-up games like Contra, where your objective is moved from left to right, blasting away everything on the screen. This particular genre focuses on what most video games strive to do: make the player feel a sense of empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a game that does just that while adding a serving of cannoli. Guns, Gore Cannoli 2 is cheesy, corny, over the top, and a damn good time. The game centers around our hero, Vinnie Cannoli, who is an Italian gangster with a love for firearms and a passion for cannoli. The story centers around his fights with gangsters, cops, zombies, and even Nazis. He's on a quest to find out the identity of a Dark Dawn and put a stop to him. While the story isn't the biggest hook to the game, it is rather entertaining and in the same style as some of your great 80s action films. Essentially, take Commando and throw it into the 1940s. It's silly, over the top, and funny. This all feeds into the game's lighter tone, and this also feeds back into the gameplay, but essentially the story acts as a vehicle for you to really just shoot a lot of stuff. The game centers around making it through the levels while shooting every enemy you come across. The moveset is rather simple and satisfying. As Vinnie, you can roll, jump, shoot, and kick your way through the level. You'll be able to double jump to help you dodge enemy bullets. Rolling comes into play as you can slip away from oncoming targets, and you can also use this in conjunction with the jump button. The kick is really useful as it gives you a bit of breathing room as you're reloading your guns, and it's also extremely comical when you hit an enemy and they go flying just from your foot. And this is also something that is present in the shooting. The combat is very satisfying, and many factors play into that satisfaction. A big one that plays into this are the guns and their destructive power. The shooting in the game feels great, whether you're firing a shotgun or one of the many machine guns. A few shots to an enemy's head will result in the head exploding. Shotguns have a nice pushback effect so that their bullets seem like they have some weight to them as you blast an enemy and watch them go flying. It's also really satisfying to use that shotgun to blow open a door and surprise a bunch of enemies. The flamethrower causes enemies to dance around and scream hilariously while on fire, while explosives will cause body parts to go flying. The environments also play into the entertaining destruction, as there will be objects in the environment that will break, and also when shot at, could cause stuff to fall on your enemies. You can shoot air conditioners, chandeliers, and even a bell to throw on your enemies. Health is recovered by eating cannoli, which is this game's pickups. I completely approve of this because who doesn't love cannoli?
Cannoli makes me feel alive.
The game doesn't have any form of contemporary experience-based progression systems. It's just great gameplay. Like I said before, the shooting feels good and it's satisfying along with the movement of your character. The game does take a more traditional approach to progression. As you're playing the game will continuously throw new weapons at the player up until the final chapters of the game. This does make you feel like you're always growing your arsenal and you're always coming up with something new to play with. You'll start the game out with a chainsaw and then you'll learn the pistols, a Tommy gun, an MP40, a pump-action shotgun, rocket launcher, grenade launcher, flamethrower, and more. To break up the onslaught of enemies, the game features 4 boss fight encounters that are pretty great. They feel like you're fighting a larger foe than yourself, and they're enjoyable to fight and defeat. The last boss even comes with a few phases and was pretty challenging. There are some spots in the game where you'll need to light a fuse to essentially have this TNT blow up an area so that you can then progress. These are pretty much combat arenas, but they can be really intense because they give you a set amount of health pickups here, and you need to make sure while you're avoiding the enemies you don't accidentally pick up a health pickup too soon so that then later when you're really low in health you don't have any more. What adds to the strong gameplay are the visuals and the music. I'm a sucker for Tommy guns and trench coats. I love when movies use them and I love that time period. The 1940s influenced the visuals and the music in this game. These can be seen in many of the early stages of the game as you'll fight through warehouses, dark back alleys, a gentleman's club, and then even a movie theater. I love these early stages as they kind of reminded me of something from the animated Batman series. The later stages do move away from this visual style, and while I preferred the earlier environments, the game does continuously change the environments that you see, which is great, because you always feel like you're in a new place. Overall, the graphics do go for a comic book-like vibe, and it totally works. The game looks distinct and inviting. One noticeable detail I loved was that every time you reloaded your weapon, the magazine would hit the ground, and some of these would even pile up. After firing a weapon, you can always see a shell casing hit the floor, and you can also hear it. This even extends to some funny idle animations for the enemies. One guy just continuously walks around and pulls slices of pizza out of his pocket, and then he eats it. Or an enforcer that looks at a dirty magazine and gets enthralled in the pages. These small things help bring character and personality to the game and further shows that lighter tone I spoke about before. The music is another highlight as it switches from the game's soundtrack to a 1940s style music that you do hear on the radio as you're in many of the buildings. It should be noted that this game features one of the best versions of the Normandy invasion in World War II. This is something that's featured in video games a lot of times, and I can confidently say that this is one of the best versions.
He's gotta be kidding me. Vinnie, look! The Allies are landing on the beaches of Normandy. We're hit. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep this thing in the air. You're gonna have to jump, Vinnie. Well, at least I won't die alone out here. Here I go!
I mean, you paradrop in and land in a boat, and then you come running off the beach with a Tommy gun, and then you just start mowing down Nazis. How is that not awesome? And that perfectly encompasses this whole game. The game does feature the ability to play the game solo or with up to 4 friends in local or online co-op. I played the game in both single player and co-op, and both modes are a lot of fun. Playing with a friend adds to the fun, though I did experience a few hiccups while playing the game in online co-op. There were 2 instances where I would complete a level with a friend, and then we would both enter the next level and he would have already have been killed, but he was never killed, he just entered in a killed state. A quick restart to this would definitely just fix this, but then there was also another instance where we completed a level, went into the next one, and the game automatically kicked him out. While these were a bit annoying, the load times were rather quick and it was easy to just jump right back into that co-op action. Besides this, I don't really see any other flaws in this game. I do wish that it did have some type of survival mode to kind of extend out the game's length and just give it some more modes. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2 knows exactly what it is. It's silly, over the top, and most of all, very fun. The simple controls and brisk pace of the game means that almost anyone can pick this up and have a good time with it. Along with this, it can make for a great single player game along with a really good party game, as the game takes roughly 4 to 5 hours to complete, and I almost beat it my first time in one sitting because I was enjoying it so much. I played the game twice, and I can see myself running through for a 3rd or 4th time because I just can't get enough of the gameplay and the beautiful environment. The game is currently out for the PC, and it's coming to the PS4, Xbox, and Switch later this year. Keep this on your radar. I highly recommend this game. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please check out some of my other ones, and I'll see you next time.
If God made a decision, it would be Cannoli.